Part 20. Swallowed Star, My Understanding is Beyond Belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 191. The vastness of the universe is contained in a huge cube made of countless crystals, suspended in a vast and huge divine kingdom. At the core of the cube, on the turquoise throne, sat a man. Its face resembles that of a human being, with a golden eye between its eyebrows, and its body seems to be carved out of crystal. The man's face wrinkled slightly and he let out a light sigh. Oh! A peerless genius was born in a distant human race. In less than 100 years, he has already reached the level of immortality in his understanding of the law. With such a terrifying genius, the Zerg, monster, and mechanical races will all think of ways to kill that little guy, right? And if you want to completely kill this little guy and make it impossible for humans to resurrect him, at least a strong person at the level of the universe venerable will take action. But if you kill Luoxia like this, the price will be the death of the master of the universe. It is estimated that no ethnic group would choose to exchange a universe lord for Rorschach, but if it is an immortal god, if you want to succeed in the assassination, you will have too much trouble. Ha ha ha, that's really interesting. Fight! Fight! The territory of these four major ethnic groups is approaching, and they'd better blow their heads. The more miserable the fight, the better. The man whispered, and finally couldn't help laughing. Naturally, Luoxia didn't know that breaking through the Tongtian bridge could cause such a big commotion and that he would be targeted by the alien race. After entering the 19th floor, he was defeated within 1 minute. Can't beat it? Really can't beat it at all. At the cosmic level, raising his understanding of the law to the level of becoming a king and becoming immortal is already his current limit. If you can understand the 5th and 6th pictures, you should be able to pass. Rorschach muttered, and suddenly heard Babata shouting excitedly and loudly, "Rorschach! Many people are sending you emails." Ah, Luoxia was stunned and asked, "Who is sending me a message?" Babata said excitedly, "There are many. And the origins of these emails are very big. Let me tell you, this letter is from the Lord Nine Swords, this letter is from the Lord Golden Axe. This letter is from UMO sent by His Holiness, oh my God. It's so scary that so many venerables are sending you messages." Rorschach blinked and reminded, "Babata, please turn off the mail reception quickly." Babata was stunned. "Why? These big guys are sending messages now, I'm afraid they want to accept me as their disciple." Luoxia touched his chin, so shut it down quickly. Babata blinked and looked at Luoxia in confusion. "Isn't it a good thing that these cosmic sages want to take you on as their disciples? Don't you want to become a disciple?" "Luoxia, these cosmic sages are much stronger than the boss." "The boss she refers to is teacher Hu Yanbo." Luoxia said, "I know they are much more powerful than teacher Hu Yanbo." He looked at Babata, spread his hands and said, "I'm not saying that I won't worship them as my disciples. It's just that I'm not familiar with these venerables. Naturally, I need time to understand them. How can I leave the email open and not reply to it when I receive it? Isn't it impolite?" Babata thought for a while and said, "That's right. Let's exit first," Rorschach said. Immediately afterwards, he left the virtual universe. Chaos City. In Rorschach's training residence, Rorschach has returned. And Luo Feng is still in the virtual universe. "Rorschach," at this time, a thunderous voice sounded. Rorschach looked towards the street and saw a 9-meter-tall giant looking at him with 6 eyes. "Sir," Luoxia saluted quickly. Lord Golden Axe nodded slightly and said, "Follow me to the City Lord's mansion. The City Lord will see you." Only Rorschach could hear what he said. "No one else can hear it?" "Yes," Luoxia nodded, jumped down from the rooftop, followed Lord Golden Axe towards the City Lord's mansion. The other immortals looked over when Lord Golden Axe appeared. Seeing Luoxia and Master Golden Axe leaving, they couldn't help but start talking in low voices. Is the Lord Golden Axe planning to accept Luoxia as his disciple? It should be. Otherwise, why would the Lord be here? Wait a minute, if Lord Golden Axe wants to accept Luoxia as his disciple, there is no need to come here. How noble is the status of His Holiness! Although Rorschach was talented enough, it was impossible for him to condescend to him. For a moment, the Immortals frowned. That's right. If Lord Golden Axe wants to accept Luoxia as his disciple, he can just send an email to Luoxia to go to the City Lord's mansion. Why come in person? Could it be the Lord of Chaos City? An immortal existence suddenly spoke. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding immortals were stunned, and then someone said, I once heard that when Luoxia was in the genius battle, there was an honorable person who wanted to accept Luoxia as a disciple. However, an honorable person said that Luoxia was attracted by the Lord of Chaos City. Could it be? This Rorschach has reached the sky in one step. Some immortals reacted and sighed. On the other side, Luoxia followed Lord Golden Axe to the City Lord's mansion quickly. The City Lord's palace is divided into Outer Palace and Inner Palace. Normally when Luoxia and the others come to the City Lord's mansion, they always enter the Outer Palace. As for the Inner Palace, there are immortal gods guarding the door. They, little Columni, want to enter the Inner Palace unless they get the order from the Chaos City Lord. At this time, when they arrived at the door of the Inner Palace, the two immortal gods guarding them immediately saluted the Golden Axe. I have met the Venerable. Lord Golden Axe nodded slightly, and then said to Luoxia, let's go in with me. Luoxia nodded, looked at the two immortal gods guarding the door, and followed the Lord Golden Axe into the Inner Palace. He secretly complained in his heart, it's true that he became a god with immortality in the early stage, but the immortality in the later stage depends on the gate. Following Venerable Golden Axe along the way, they soon came to a square. In this square, stood a bald man wearing a fiery red shirt. He stood in the square, but there was a vague vision of the universe and stars surrounding his whole person, as if he himself had become the center of the universe, the center of the world, which was amazing. Second senior brother Venerable Golden Axe shouted towards the bald head. The bald head nodded slightly, looked at Luoxia and smiled, are you Luoxia? Yes, your majesty. Luoxia saluted, and the person who could be called second senior brother by the Golden Axe Venerable should also be a venerable person. The bald sage smiled and said, teacher plans to accept you as his direct disciple. I wonder if you are willing. After he asked, he added, oh, by the way, the teachers of me and my ninth junior brother are the lords of Chaos City. Luoxia nodded and said, of course I am willing. Hearing this, the bald venerable said with a smile, in that case, you can just call me second senior brother, and call ninth junior brother ninth senior brother. Yes, second senior brother, ninth senior brother. Luoxia also hit the snake with the stick and immediately called him. The second senior brother laughed and said to the Venerable Golden Axe, junior brother ninth, go and do your work. Junior brother Luoxia will be taken by me to see the teacher. Brother, I'll leave first. Lord Golden Axe bowed slightly, turned and left. The second senior brother said to Luoxia, let's go, junior brother Luoxia. He continued to move forward with Rorschach, while introducing Rorschach. I became a disciple of the teacher very early, so I can become the second senior brother. There are many disciples under the teacher, many of whom are better than me. It is only because of the teacher's special favor that I can always be at the teacher's side. Rorschach nodded. The second senior brother continued, teacher has three major avatars. The one who presides over Chaos City is the one who kills him, so you must respect him and don't offend him. Yes. Rorschach was not surprised. Although many plots of the original work have been forgotten. But for such a famous figure as the Lord of Chaos City, he naturally remembers a lot. He also knows about his three major clones. Except for the main killing clone. The Lord of Chaos City also has a Qianbaohe clone, whose appearance is described as extremely shady, tens of thousands of kilometers high, with silvery white skin all over his body, and thousands of tentacles on his head. Just thinking about these thousands of tentacles makes me feel crazy. On the contrary, it is the true identity of the Lord of Chaos City. According to the original description, his face resembles that of an earthling. Not long after, the second senior brother brought Luoxia to a quiet courtyard. Outside this courtyard, there is a stone tablet. There are 3 words on the stone tablet: Chaos Ruins. The teacher is inside, the second senior brother said, and then he stepped into the courtyard. Rorschach followed and also stepped into the courtyard. Boom! With this step, time and space were directly reversed, and the stars moved. In an instant, he had arrived in a vast world. What comes into view is the endless land. On this earth, various corpses can be seen everywhere. Some corpses are as big as planets, and some are smaller than human beings. These corpses all contain a terrifying aura that makes people feel palpitated. Rorschach's breathing stagnated slightly, and then returned to normal. He secretly guessed that this vast world should be the post-war ruins of a certain war. The second senior brother led Luoxia on this endless and vast land. I don't know how long I've been gone. Teacher, the second senior brother suddenly shouted. Only then did Luoxia realize that a man about 3 meters tall was standing not far in front of him. The man wore a dark red battle armor with a simple and complicated style. A scaly tail protruded from the battle skirt, and under a pair of fiery red horns was a fierce face covered with secret patterns. It is worthy of being the master's killing clone, so full of murderous intent. Rorschach was shocked. When his eyes fell on this man, he seemed to see the first scene of the birth of the universe. The endless laws of the universe were running behind him, as if he had become the incarnation of the universe. Rorschach. A voice seemed to sound deep in the soul. Rorschach came back to his senses, and when he looked at the man again, he found that the scene he saw before had disappeared. Luoxia pays homage to the Lord of the City. Luoxia saluted quickly. The Lord of Chaos City smiled slightly, looked at Luoxia, and said, "You are brave. You dare to open up a world in your body at the planet level. It is also because of your great fortune, otherwise our human race will lose a peerless genius." When the venerable Gi next to him heard this, he was surprised and said, "Teacher, did he create this small world in his body by himself? I thought he had some kind of chance to have such a small world in his body." The Lord of Chaos City said, "He developed it on his own, but Rorschach was able to succeed because of too many coincidences. What surprised me most is that he was able to understand the innate secret method of the Golden Horned Giant Beast clan. This understanding is worthy of our human race. The best." Luoxia blinked her eyes, feeling quite helpless. He knew that the secrets about himself could not be hidden from these big guys at all. Venerable Guiyi was once again surprised. What is the secret talent of the Golden Horned Giant Beast? He thought for a moment, then glanced at Luoxia and said, "Oh. One of the secret techniques he used in the trial tower is indeed the same as the enhanced secret technique of the Golden Horned Behemoth clan." He asked with interest, "Junior brother, in addition to the strengthening secrets of the Golden Horned Beast, which ones have you learned?" "I remember that the Golden Horned Beast has a very powerful clone secret." "I also learned the clone secret." Luoxia nodded and said, "But the secret I learned is somewhat different from the secret of the Golden Horned Beast. Because there is no pronucleus of the Golden Horned Beast, the clone will die completely after death." The Gi Venerable laughed in surprise and said, "Junior brother, you are really amazing. That innate secret method is given by the original universe. It is born with it. Foreigners can't learn and comprehend it at all. You can force it to comprehend and learn it. In your words on earth, it is really against the sky." After learning that the teacher wanted to accept Luoxia as a disciple, the Gi Venerable went to check Logosia's information and learned a lot about the culture of the earth. At this time, he spoke with a sense of intimacy. After thinking for a while, the Gi master said, "The clone talent of this golden horned beast is based on the inner world. Is this why you want to open up the inner world at the planetary level?" As expected of the universe master, he has almost figured out the principle before he said much. Logosia admired him and said, "Second senior brother is right." The Gi master said, "Then your secret method of enlarging your body and increasing your combat power is also the secret method of the golden horned beast? It just looks a little different." The Gi master has also seen the golden horned beast. Of course, he knows the various innate secrets of the golden horned beast. The secret method is called Law of Heaven and Earth. I created it with the reference of the golden horned beast's original Heaven and Earth secret method. Logosia said, "Tisk tisk, you are worthy of the best understanding of my human race. You can create such a powerful secret method at the star level. Your secret method is also the top among the human race." The Gi master praised. "Thank you for the compliment, senior brother," Logosia said modestly. At this time, the Lord of Chaos looked at Logosia and said, "You have a very high talent for comprehension. It is not an exaggeration to say that you are the strongest in human history. Are you willing to be my disciple?" "I am willing," Logosia said hurriedly. Lord of Chaos, the disciple of the original ancestor, one of the most powerful beings in human history. In the original work, Luo Feng was also observed for more than 3,000 years before he was officially accepted as a disciple by the Lord of Chaos. Logosia's comprehension was too amazing. Otherwise, the Lord of Chaos would at most make Logosia a registered disciple. The Lord of Chaos City said, "Now that you have become my disciple, you should stay in Chaos City first. As for the various resources you need for cultivation, I will have someone send them to you." After a slight pause, the Lord of Chaos City continued, "You can leave Chaos City only when you reach the level of Realm Lord." Rorschach was stunned. Realm Lord level. The Lord of Chaos City nodded, "I'm afraid your name has spread throughout the universe. Other alien races will definitely try every means to get rid of you. Only in this Chaos City can I keep you safe. If you leave Chaos City, I'm afraid you will die soon." Rorschach scratched his head. Is it so terrible? He didn't expect that he would be killed just by crossing the Tongtian Bridge. This universe is too terrible. Now that you have worshipped me as your master, as a teacher, I will naturally give you some cultivation resources. In this way, I will give you 20 opportunities to comprehend the chaos monument of the universe. When you are in this Chaos City, you can go in and comprehend it at any time." The Lord of Chaos City said. Logosia blinked his eyes and bowed to the Lord of Chaos City, "Thank you, teacher." Originally, he had 12 chances to comprehend after passing the 18th level of Tongtian Bridge. Now, with the 20 chances given by Chaos City, there are 32 chances. Although these 20 chances may seem ordinary, many chaos monuments have a maximum of 21 chances for Tongtian Bridge. Logosia got 20 extra chances. It's a great profit. Okay, you can leave now. If you have any questions, you can ask your 9th senior brother or 2nd senior brother first. If they can't help you, come to me." The Lord of Chaos City waved his hand. "Teacher, I'll take my leave." Logosia bowed and saluted after hearing this. Wow! As soon as the voice fell, Logosia and Gi-Zun disappeared in the vast world. They appeared outside the courtyard of Chaos Ruins. The Gi master smiled at Logosia and said, "Little junior brother, work hard. If you don't understand anything, come to the city lord's mansion and ask me. I will tell you everything I know." "Thank you, senior brother," Logosia bowed. The Gi master smiled and disappeared. Logosia murmured in a low voice, "Realm Master level. It seems that he will have to stay in this initial universe for a long time. Now, The only thing he cares about is his family. However, Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan are all taken care of by Luo Hua. He bought all kinds of precious treasures to improve their strength and body. Even after 100 years, they don't look old, but live younger and younger. He doesn't have to experience the grief of the death of his relatives. Thinking about his family, Luo Xia returned to his residence and found that his eldest brother Luo Feng was still there. "Brother Xiao Xia, where did you go just now? I sent you a message and it showed that it was not received." Luo Feng asked. Luo Xia said, "Just now, Venerable Jinfa came to me to meet the Lord of Chaos City. By the way, I now worship the Lord as my teacher." Luo Feng was stunned, and then said happily, "Really? That's great." Luo Xia said again, "But brother, I may not be able to leave Chaos City with you." Luo Feng frowned and asked, "Why?" "The teacher said that my name has spread throughout the universe. If I leave Chaos City, I may encounter something unexpected, so I am not allowed to leave here until I become the world lord." Rorschach said helplessly. "Ah," Luo Feng was shocked, "the name spreads throughout the universe? Will something unexpected happen if you leave Chaos City?" Babata appeared at this time and explained, "This is normal. When the boss and I were traveling in the universe, we heard that human geniuses were assassinated by aliens and died." She looked at Luo Xia and smiled proudly. "Luo Xia is now an out-and-out human genius. The news that he broke through the 18th story Tongtian Bridge today will definitely spread. It is impossible for those aliens to let Luo Xia do it grow up." When Luo Feng heard this, he frowned and said, "Is it so dangerous?" He pondered, then nodded, looked at Rorschach and said, "I understand. Then you can stay in Chaos City with peace of mind. If you need anything, please contact me in the virtual universe." "Yeah, I know." Rorschach nodded. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 192. After Rorschach opened the 18th floor of the Sky Bridge, he automatically obtained the permanent residence qualification of the original universe. Now the Lord of Chaos City told him not to leave the original universe before reaching the World Lord. He stayed with peace of mind. Before Luo Feng and the others left, Luo Xia met with several friends he met in Chaos City, and then spoke to the Lord of Nine Swords who had arrived in Chaos City. When Lord Nine Swords learned that Luo Xia was already the direct disciple of the Lord of Chaos City, he was not too surprised. Many cosmic lords had already expected this. After all, during the Genius War, the Lord of Chaos City had announced that he wanted to accept Luo Xia as his disciple. It just needs to be investigated. So after Rorschach came to Chaos City and broke into the 18th floor of the Tongtian Bridge, he officially accepted Rorschach. And why did he have to come to Chaos City to accept Rorschach? An important reason. This Chaos City is the space and time controlled by the Chaos City Lord. As long as he is not an immortal level powerhouse, the Chaos City Lord can know whether Rorschach is a human or not the moment he enters the city. If Luo Xia's body was taken away by a foreign race instead of a human being, it goes without saying that the disciple would not accept her, but her life would have to be accepted. If he were really a human being, the Lord of Chaos City would naturally accept Luo Xia. In the original work, Luo Feng's true identity was discovered by the Lord of Chaos City when he entered Chaos City for the first time. Later, when Luo Feng became the Realm Lord and went to find the Chaos City Lord, the Chaos City Lord directly pointed out the fact that Luo Feng himself was a golden horned giant beast. Luo Feng was frightened at that time. After all, the golden horned giant beast is a foreign race. But the Lord of Chaos City made it very clear that the soul is the foundation. Although Luo Feng took away the body of the golden horned giant beast and his body became a foreign race, his soul was still human and his consciousness also belonged to human beings. Nature can be counted as a human being. If Luo Feng becomes immortal and comes to Chaos City again, maybe the Lord of Chaos City will monitor and detain him immediately, because the immortal soul has been integrated with the body cells. At this time, it will be very difficult to distinguish the human soul. All in all, Luo Feng and the others left Chaos City. Seeing the big fish-like spaceship's tail fin swinging and then disappearing from sight, Luo Xia sighed slightly, and then returned to his training residence. The teacher said that I can only leave Chaos City after I become the Realm Lord. Luo Xia sat on the rooftop and said to himself, it is not difficult for me to become a Realm Master. After all, the shackles of the realm that are difficult for others are nothing to me. To break through from the universe level to the domain lord level, you need. The realm has reached the 9th level of the domain, and at the same time he has gained some understanding of a certain basic original law, and has crossed the threshold. This Rorschach has been achieved long ago. As for breaking through from domain lord level to world lord level, you need. He has a deeper understanding of a certain lower origin law. At the peak, he is even recognized by the origin of the law, and he also begins to have a preliminary understanding of the upper origin law. Regarding this, Rorschach even achieved it at the stellar level. Therefore, it is really not difficult for Rorschach to break through to the Realm Lord. In particular, the Virtual Universe Company can help him complete the accumulation of energy, so that he does not have to bother to practice and absorb the energy of the universe. Well, go and apply. Thinking of this, Rorschach's consciousness entered the virtual universe. Now, his realm has broken through to the first level of the universe. He can apply for a nutrition cabin from the company to increase his strength from the first level of the universe to the 9th level. He entered the manor in the primitive area and asked Babata to apply. As Babata submitted her application, a small screen appeared in front of Rorschach. A beautiful woman in a white robe appeared, looked at Rorschach with a smile and said, "Hello, His Highness Luo Xia, may I ask, are you applying for a trial nutrition cabin to upgrade from the first level of the universe level to the 9th level?" Rorschach nodded, "Yes. Your Highness Luo Xia, we will deliver the nutrition cabin to your residence within 1 day," the green-haired woman said with a smile. Rorschach said, "I am in Chaos City now, can you guys send me in?" The woman was stunned for a moment, and then said, "Of course it is possible, but since you are in Chaos City, it may take 2 days for the nutrition cabin to be delivered." "Okay, please," Rorschach said politely. The green-haired woman said with a smile on her face, "It is our honor to be able to help His Highness Luo Xia." On the other side, Luo Feng, Wuka, and the others took the 9 Swords Venerable spaceship and left the initial universe. On the spaceship, Wuka asked Luo Feng in a low voice, "Luo Feng, I heard that Luo Xia worshipped the Lord of Chaos City as his teacher." Luo Feng nodded, "Yes." Qian Shui, who listened with his ears pricked up, couldn't help but exclaimed, "It's actually true." Not far away, Bolan was holding a bloody sword with a stern expression. He subconsciously clenched the sword in his hand. First, Rongjun worshipped the Lord of the Universe as his teacher, and now it's Luo Xia, Lord of Chaos City. Even though Bolan didn't have much idea about powerful people above the venerable level, he still knew that the strength of someone with the title of Lord of Chaos City was absolutely extraordinary. Especially the cosmic lords like the 9 Swords Venerable, who dare not compete with the Chaos City Lord for disciples, can understand how high the Chaos City Lord's strength and status are. Rorschach originally left him far away. Now that he has a strong man like the Lord of Chaos City as his teacher, Bolan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Can he still catch up with Rorschach in this life? Seeing Qian Shui's exclamation, Long Yun asked in confusion, "Qian Shui, do you know the name of the Lord of Chaos City?" Qian Shui glanced at Rongjun, who was not far away, and then looked at Long Yun and explained, "I also heard what the teacher said, the Lord of Chaos City is the most powerful person in our virtual universe company. Not only does he have a respected position, but he also has great strength. Unfathomable." As soon as these words came out, Long Yun looked shocked. "Is the Lord of Chaos City so powerful?" Rorschach worshipped such a powerful being as his teacher. Zhang Mo added, the cosmic chaos monument that Luoxia understood was created by the Lord of Chaos City. He paused slightly and asked Luo Feng, does Luoxia want to stay in Chaos City? Although you can understand the laws in Chaos City, an environment that is too comfortable cannot create a strong person. Hearing this, Rongjun laughed and said, what Zhang Mo said is that if Luoxia covets the enlightenment environment of Chaos City, I am afraid that in a few thousand years, we may not be able to match him in terms of understanding the law, but the combat power should be you can catch up with or even surpass him. After Rongjun said this, many geniuses nodded secretly. The environment of Chaos City is indeed suitable for comprehending the law. But it lacks experience and crisis. And every grown-up genius, even a strong person, knows that the flowers in the greenhouse are of no use. If Rorschach broke through the 18th floor Tongtian Bridge, he would want to stay in Chaos City forever and not go out to experience. Your future achievements may not necessarily be higher than theirs. Luo Feng just smiled and shook his head at what Rongjun and others said. Rorschach stayed in Chaos City because he was on the alien assassination list. A clear and sweet voice suddenly sounded. Everyone was stunned and looked at a beautiful woman not far away. She is wearing a blue battle armor and has long flowing purple hair. She is an immortal king under the command of the Lord Nine Swords. Bolin frowned slightly, an assassination list of foreign races. King Longjio looked at these geniuses and showed a smile, the universe is vast and vast. In addition to our human race, there are other alien races. Some of these alien races are friendly with our human race, and some are at war with us. Those alien races that have enmity with our human race will not just watch the rise of geniuses from our human race. So, if a peerless genius with strong enough talent appears in our human race, they will be assassinated by them. And Rorschach is such a genius. King Longjio's words made many geniuses present secretly clenched their fists. According to King Longjio, Luoxia's level of genius has already made foreign races feel fearful. These alien races believe that if Rorschach grows up, it will threaten the survival and future of their race. And these geniuses, although they can be considered geniuses, are not qualified to be on the alien assassination list. Because their level of genius is only average compared to Rorschach. Among those alien races, there are also geniuses similar to them. Many geniuses are unwilling to accept this. Such as Bolin, such as Rongjun, such as Wuka. They are all proud. However, at this time, I heard that even their genius level was not on the alien assassination list. I couldn't help but feel a sense of shame of being looked down upon in my heart. Although being on the assassination list is not a good thing. But it's better to have it than not to have it. Is it a foreign race? Rongjun geared up. I heard that when you reach the realm of the Realm Lord, you can go to the battlefield outside the territory. When the time comes, I must let those foreign races open their eyes to see how powerful I, Rongjun, am. Uka also shouted, do you dare to assassinate me? When the time comes, I will make them regret it. Luo Feng listened and couldn't laugh or cry. King Longjio chuckled and shook his head when he heard the shouts of Rongjun, Wuka, and others. The cruelty of the battlefield outside the territory is beyond your imagination. The flow rate of time in Chaos City is not the same as the flow rate of time in the original universe. Although the green-haired woman was talking about 2 days at that time. But for Rorschach in Chaos City, less than a few hours have passed. The nutrition cabin was delivered. Rorschach followed the instructions and lay down in the nutrition cabin. With the help of the nutrient solution in the nutrition cabin, his whole body underwent amazing changes from the inside out. It takes hundreds or even thousands of years for an average person to go from the 1st to the 9th level of the cosmic level. But with the nutrient solution provided by Virtual Universe Corporation, this process was shortened to just a few months. During these more than 3 months, Rorschach's body could not leave the nutrition cabin. So his consciousness entered the virtual universe and started other challenges. In order to motivate and train the geniuses in the company, Virtual Universe Company has set up many challenges in the virtual universe. What we know now is Tongtian Bridge. But in addition to Tongtian Bridge, there are several other challenges, such as Tongtian Mountain. Tongtian Mountain is divided into 3 levels: Original Tongtian Mountain, Taisha Tongtian Mountain, and Heaven and Earth Tongtian Mountain. If there are members of the apocalyptic secret realm who successfully pass through 3 Tongtian Mountains in one go, they can be directly promoted to members of the original secret realm. Of course, this is extremely difficult. According to King Jinyan in the original work, the establishment of Tongtian Mountain, like the trial tower in the Genius battle, was set up based on the idea that it would be impossible for people to pass. But throughout the ages, there have always been people who exceeded everyone's expectations. For example, the Cody mentioned before has opened up the Tongtian Mountain. As for the trial tower, only Rorschach has cleared it since its establishment. In this virtual universe, there are other challenges: the Altar of Immortality and the Sea of Illusion. Immortal Altar, a special testing place specially developed by the virtual universe to isolate the original laws of the universe, the original energy of the universe, and the original power of thought in the body. What is being tested? Strength. The purest force-generating technique and power of the body. The Sea of Illusions, as the name suggests, is a place filled with various illusions, used to test the strength of consciousness and will. I don't know how strong my will is. Rorschach muttered and teleported to the Sea of Illusion. From birth to now, Rorschach has always known that his soul is very powerful. Because of the strength of his soul, his consciousness and will are also very strong. But how strong it is, he doesn't know. Because until now, whether it was the time when he opened the cave world or the time when he broke through the 7 trial towers, his will was reaching the limit, but not reaching the limit. So Rorschach doesn't know where the real limit is. The plane of Fantasy Sea. The Black Sea roared, setting off huge waves tens of meters high. Luo Xia looked at an island in the distance, turned into a stream of light, and flew towards it. In this Fantasy Sea, only after passing a level will the next island appear on the sea. Among the strong ones born on earth, both Hong and Lei Shen attach great importance to spiritual cultivation. Because Rorschach has traveled through time, he knows the importance of the mind and will. From a very young age, I have been studying various ancient books, comprehending the thoughts and wisdom of ancient sages, and attaching great importance to state of mind and will. And there is an even bigger difference between him and Hong and Thor. That is, he is a time traveler. This identity made him transcend this world from the beginning. He has a transcendent state of mind that no one can achieve. This state of mind gives him a unique perspective and calmness when facing many things. Entering the island, Rorschach entered a fantasy world in an instant. He saw in front of him, Luo Feng ran anxiously and shouted, "Xiao Xia! It's not good." Xiao Hai went out to explore and encountered danger on a planet called Mo Yungxing. He was trapped there. "Come with me quickly, go save Xiao Hai." The illusion is very realistic. But Luo Xia just smiled, his thoughts moved slightly, and Luo Feng disappeared in front of him. The illusion disappears. Rorschach stood on the gravel-covered ground and looked at another island slowly emerging from the black ocean. He transformed into rainbow light and flew towards the island. The second island, the third island. After visiting 10 islands in a row, the illusions therein did not affect Rorschach. At this time, in the depths of the Fantasy Sea, on the edge of an island, an old man wearing golden robes was sitting cross-legged. This old man is the manager of the Illusion Sea here. He noticed Rorschach breaking into the Sea of Illusion, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. A cosmic-level little guy comes to enter the Sea of Illusion. And after breaking through 10 islands in one breath, even if there are many world lords, they can't be as easy as him. Especially the islands after the 8th island, which even the peak world lords can't break through. Let's take a look. Oh, It turns out it's the peerless genius Rorschach who broke into the 18th floor Tongtian Bridge. Since it's him, it doesn't seem to be a surprise that he can pass this 10th island. The old man was talking to himself. Although conscious will is very illusory and elusive, but it is undeniable that people who can do things that ordinary people cannot do have absolutely no weak willpower. The old man paid attention to Rorschach's breakthrough. As Rorschach passed through the 11th island again, the old man was shocked. This Rorschach actually withstood the pressure of the immortal consciousness of a military leader. What a terrible will! Although there is a huge difference in the intensity of consciousness, the incomparable will makes up for the gap in intensity of consciousness. Is this the will of a genius who has cleared the 18th floor of the Tongtian Bridge? So powerful. With such a terrifying will, as long as he doesn't fall into despair and fall, he is destined to become an invincible super strong man in the future. The old man was amazed. I was shocked by the willpower displayed by Rorschach. Previously, other geniuses had come through the sea of illusion. The best result was Bolin, who reached 7th place. Rong Jun was 2nd and reached the 6th seed. And now, Rorschach has made it to the 11th building in one go, and judging from the situation, Rorschach seems to be able to go on. Starting from the 9th island, before the fantasy sea begins, a pressure will erupt, crushing Rorschach's consciousness, making his consciousness dizzy and blurred. However, he has the unique transcendental state of mind that belongs to those who travel through time. Even if your consciousness becomes almost fainting under the pressure of terror, you can still distinguish the true from the false in the illusion, just like opening the perspective of God, and easily break through the illusion. The coercion erupting from the 9th island is equivalent to the consciousness impact exerted by the peak world master. The pressure that erupted on the 10th island was equivalent to the immortal level. The 11th island is the immortal coercive strength of the military leader level. And so on. Rorschach keeps moving forward, constantly exploring the limits of his soul and will. The 18th, the 19th, the 20th. Finally, Luoxia arrived at the 21st island. The old man in the golden robe was on this island. He watched Luoxia continue to break into the 21st island. His mouth subconsciously opened slightly, wanting to say something, but looking at Luoxia's determined eyes, he couldn't say anything. Too scary. The consciousness pressure of these 20 islands is equivalent to the pressure intensity between the peak of immortality and the universe master. But Luoxia also survived, and was not disturbed by the increasingly real illusion. He quickly broke the illusion and arrived at the 21st island. This achievement is really against the sky. Boom. It was like a piece of starry sky fell down, and Luoxia's consciousness almost collapsed in an instant, but at the moment when his consciousness collapsed, the golden sphere in his sea of consciousness burst into a strong golden light. The constantly collapsing consciousness condensed little by little under the strong will. Xiao Xia. A kind voice from the depths of the soul sounded in his ears, and Luoxia, whose consciousness was almost collapsed, almost subconsciously raised his head and looked forward. A woman whose face could not be seen clearly smiled at him and whispered, "If you are tired, go to sleep for a while." "Mom!" Rorschach cried out, tears suddenly flowing down. "Why are you crying? Isn't Mom here?" The woman whose face could not be seen clearly said in a panic, opened her arms and hugged Rorschach into her warm arms. Feeling this warm embrace, Rorschach closed his eyes and felt it for a while. Then, he sighed softly and whispered, "I didn't expect that after so many years, I even forgot your face." He suddenly broke free from his mother's arms, looked at the woman whose face was always separated by a layer of mist, and apologized. "I'm sorry, Mom, I am unfilial." As his voice fell, the illusion in front of him disappeared. Rorschach's tears also dissipated with the sea breeze. Suddenly, an old man in a golden robe appeared. He looked at the old man, was slightly stunned, and asked, "Who are you?" "My name is Huangzhen, and I am the manager of this fantasy sea. The old man smiled and said, "Congratulations to His Highness Logosya for clearing the entire fantasy sea. This is the first time since the establishment of the fantasy sea that someone has cleared all the fantasy sea islands at the cosmic level." "Are there only 21 islands in the fantasy sea?" Logosya asked. The old man nodded, "Yes, there are only 21. Buzz. Suddenly, time and space were distorted, and then a phantom appeared. The old man named Huangzhen saw the phantom and hurriedly saluted respectfully, "Lord City Lord." "Lord City Lord?" Logosya looked at the person who came and found that it was the Lord of Chaos City. Although the appearance of the Lord of Chaos City at this time was different from what he saw in the Chaos Ruins, he still recognized him in an instant. He saluted and said, "Teacher Huangzhen, block the news that Logosya passed the Huangzhen Sea, and don't let it out. Even if other universe masters come to ask, don't let it out." The Chaos City Lord in a golden robe nodded slightly to Logosya, and then said to the old man seriously, "Yes, Lord City Lord." Huangzhen nodded and immediately blocked the news that Logosya passed the Huanjing Sea. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 193. On the island, Logosya watched the Chaos City Lord order the news of his passing through the Illusion Sea to be blocked, and his expression was thoughtful. And the Chaos City Lord was also looking at Logosya, with a pair of eyes as calm as the starry sky, and no one could see his thoughts. Before that, after he accepted Logosya as his personal disciple, he became concerned about Logosya's affairs. When he heard that Logosya came to the Illusion Sea, he paid attention to it and wanted to see which island Logosya could break into. But as Logosya continued to break through and passed through 21 islands, the Chaos City Lord realized that if this matter spread, it might cause trouble for his disciples. So he appeared without hesitation and asked the administrator Huangzhen to block the news. "Logosya, after leaving here, it's best not to tell anyone about your passing through the Illusion Sea. Otherwise, it will cause you trouble," the Chaos City Lord warned. With that, the City Lord disappeared directly. Logosya bowed to the old man Huangzhen and followed him out of the Illusion Sea. He knew very well why the Lord of Chaos City had made such a warning. In the original work, Hong had come to challenge the Sea of Illusions and passed through 20 islands, but failed on the last island. When the founder of the giant axe fighting arena knew about this, he immediately blocked the news. Then the founder sent his immortal gods to the earth, ready to buy the earth from Luo Feng. The founder of the giant axe fighting arena realized the special nature of the earth. He probably didn't know that the earth had been transformed by the mountain man. But it can be inferred that there is some kind of treasure or special nature on the earth that can make humans born on the earth superior to humans in other universes in terms of consciousness and will. If the Lord of Chaos City does not block the news today, this kind of thing will spread, attracting the covetousness of the earth by powerful people from all sides. This is why he warned Logosya not to tell anyone about the clearance of the Sea of Illusions. After leaving the Sea of Illusions, Logosya returned to his manor in the primitive area. He made a summary in the study. From the current situation, my will is very strong. The consciousness pressure of the 21st island is equivalent to the consciousness pressure of the Universe Master. Although it can collapse my consciousness, it cannot crush my will. The strength of consciousness is related to the strength of the soul. The strength of the soul is related to the strength of the body. Now my body has reached the universe level, and the strength of the soul should also be the universe. Wait, I forgot about the clone of the golden horned beast. Rorschach sorted out his own strength and almost forgot about the clone of the golden horned beast. He counted the strength of the clone of the golden horned beast, sorted out his thoughts, and continued to talk to himself. The Golden Horned Beast has been promoted to the level of the second-level Domain Master in 30 years. And because the clone of the Golden Horned Beast and my original body share the same consciousness. So according to the current strength of the clone of the Golden Horned Beast, my consciousness strength should be the second-level Domain Master. However, although the consciousness strength is strong, the mental power is limited by the endurance of the body. The mental power of the original body can only be 2 levels stronger than the physical fitness. Now the golden sphere in the sea of consciousness of Rorschach is still there. This thing has been in his sea of consciousness since birth. There was also a dark golden sphere in the sea of consciousness of the eldest brother Luo Feng. But Luo Feng's dark golden sphere was broken as early as when he was promoted to the middle war god. But Luo Xia's golden sphere has not shown any signs of breaking until now. Luo Xia is not sure. When will this golden sphere break? Will it not break until the immortal level? Luo Xia muttered. When you become immortal, your soul will be integrated into the body cells, so at that time, the golden sphere will break no matter what. Immortality. Luo Xia's thoughts extended. The difference between immortals is huge, and this difference is brought by life genes. The greater the multiples of life genes, the stronger the strength when you achieve immortality. For example, the eldest brother, in the original work, just broke through to immortality, and was arranged by the Chaos City Lord to the area where the universe venerable lives. It is because he achieved immortality with perfect genes. Just after becoming immortal, his strength is comparable to some universe masters. There seem to be many things in this universe that can improve life genes, but the only one I know is the 9 Tribulation Secret Book. In order to break the limit of life genes, the future Big Brother entered the Universe Sea to study the genes of various strange life objects. In the end, relying on the creative talent of the Endless Sea clone, he achieved 100,000 times the life genes. This achievement has never been achieved before and will never be achieved again. I can still vaguely remember some of the contents of the 9 Tribulation Secret Book. Think about it, Luo Xia, think about it. Luo Xia closed his eyes in the study and tried to recall the original content of Swallowing the Stars. It was said a long time ago. Luo Xia's memory of his previous life has been constantly blurred for some unknown reason. Although he can remember some fragments. But more details have been forgotten. At this time, he tried to recall the contents of the original work. I can't remember. After a long time, Rorschach opened his eyes in annoyance. Why can't I remember the key points? He grabbed his hair and lowered his head to think. Logically speaking, as my strength and soul become stronger, I should be able to remember more memories. After all, I can now remember everything that happened when I was just born in this world. Why can I only remember some scattered fragments of my past life memories, especially the content of this original work? Rorschach was a little unwilling and continued to remember with a frown. 9 Tribulation Secret Code, 9 Tribulation Secret Code. Buzz. Suddenly, in his sea of consciousness, the golden ball bloomed, and the golden light shone. Luo Xia's soul suddenly shook. Then, the description fragment about the 9 Tribulation Secret Code appeared in Rorschach's mind. It requires the Soul Crystal Ball and the Force Crystal Ball as the 2 cores to release the power of thought and the Force, and continuously integrate into every cell of the body, so that the Soul Crystal Ball, the Force Crystal Ball, and the body are as one, forming balance, and then began to practice secret techniques to promote the genetic evolution of the body. An auxiliary crystal silk thread, a main silk thread, perfectly combine the Force Crystal Ball, the Soul Crystal Ball and the body, simulating the entire body into an inner universe. These descriptions are not complete. But when Rorschach recalled these words, huge waves immediately set off in his mind. At this moment, his understanding was like Mount Fuji erupting, and countless inspirations surged out of his heart. Rorschach's expression suddenly became excited. Inner universe. Yes. Inner universe. The evolution of body genes is itself a kind of operating rule of the universe. and the entire original universe is undoubtedly the most perfect universe. Simulating a perfect universe like the original universe in the body will promote the evolution of life genes. Rorschach's understanding exploded like a volcano at this moment. Although he cannot know the specific content of the Nine Tribulations secret book, as long as he knows some concepts, with his current level of understanding of the laws of the universe, coupled with his heaven-defying understanding, he already has some ideas on how to improve his life genes. Got the idea? For the next time, Rorschach was immersed in this state of understanding and deduction. Before I knew it, 3 months had passed. Chaos City. In the training residence, Rorschach opened the door of the nutrition cabin, his eyes bright. Today, he is already at the 9th level of the universe level. But he doesn't care about his own realm level. At this time, he was more concerned about the incomplete secret method that came to his mind. This secret method was temporarily named 6 Paths of Reincarnation by Rorschach. Because in his deduction, this secret method that can enhance life genes should have 9 levels. But with his current strength and realm, he can only barely reach the 6th level. Moreover, in addition to the specific ideas and methods at the 1st level, the 2nd to 6th levels only have a relatively vague concept that has not yet been thoroughly deduced. In the first reincarnation, one uses mental power and the force to simulate the 10 basic laws in the body and build an inner universe. This first step is very difficult, and one must fully understand and comprehend the operating rules of the universe in order to achieve it. Rorschach whispered, came to the rooftop of his residence, raised his head and looked at the space crack in the sky. Fortunately, I stayed in the original universe and can continue to observe the operating rules of the universe. He sat down and concentrated on observing and understanding the rules of the universe appearing in the sky. Boom boom boom. With his incredible understanding, Rorschach gradually understood and mastered the operating rules of the universe. He began to build an inner universe within his own body. In ancient China, someone once proposed the theory of the human body's microcosm. Rorschach had seen it before when he was on Earth. Now he combines the thoughts and theories of the Chinese sages, the theory of yin-yang and the 5 elements, and the regular logic of the rules of the universe, and simulates the 10 basic laws of mental power and the original force to build an inner universe in the body. This step is very difficult. It would be very simple if the Lord of the universe did it. After all, the Lord of the universe has fully understood the laws of time and space, and also has a very high understanding of the 8 lower laws. As for Rorschach, the laws of time and space have not yet been fully understood. Although 3 of the remaining 8 lower laws are recognized by the original law, the remaining 5 laws are only at the threshold of understanding. Therefore, it is still difficult for Rorschach to build an inner universe within the body to promote the evolution of life genes. The most important thing is circulation, achieving a perfect cycle. Rorschach whispered in his heart, carefully building it inside his body. This secret method is very dangerous. If he is not careful, his body will easily collapse. But before practicing, Rorschach had already deduced it in his mind countless times. With his incredible understanding, he has minimized the danger of this secret technique. Time and space are one. The two together create the universe. The essence of time and space is matter. The universe is a universe of matter. Everything is inseparable from matter. Time is the conceptual description of material movement. Space is the concrete manifestation of material existence. The other laws are the rules and logic generated by the operation of matter. Boom. It exploded. Rorschach's understanding exploded. He is gradually understanding everything in the universe. That is at this moment. The inner universe was successfully constructed. The moment it was formed, it created a force of evolution. This evolutionary force pushed Rorschach's life genes to continue to strengthen. 1 time, 2 times. You can see that a strange halo appeared on Rorschach's body, which was composed of that strange energy. If you look closely, you will find that this halo contains the rules of the universe, explaining everything very clearly. Rorschach was completely immersed in this state. The halo wrapped around his body like breathing, pushing his life genes to continue to evolve. Time passed little by little. Rorschach, who was immersed in evolution, had no idea how much time had passed. On this day, the halo that had been lingering on Rorschach slowly converged and finally merged into his body. Rorschach opened his eyes. At this time, his aura was extremely powerful. The breath of law and life emanating from the inside out even formed a field around the body. At this time, Rorschach's life genes were 8 times higher than before. And Rorschach's previous life genes were increased tenfold under the blessing of the original universe. Later, he used the bloodline gene potion to increase his life gene to 11 times. Now, after practicing the first reincarnation of 6 paths of reincarnation, his life gene, multiplied by the previous life gene multiple, was directly increased to 88 times. In other words, Logosia's current life gene level is 88 times that of ordinary life genes in the universe. You should know that the life gene multiple of the golden horned beast is only 10 times that of ordinary life. At present, Logosia, who has 88 times the life gene, is stronger than the peak bloodline life of the golden horned beast under the same realm. After the second reincarnation was perfected and operated in the first reincarnation, half of the content was deduced. According to the deduction, my current life gene can be increased by 16 times. 16 times asterisk 88 times, that is 1408 times. Logosia was excited. The 9 Tribulations secret book in the original work was created by the God King level strongman Zoshank. Logosia, on the other hand, only remembered some fragments of the 9 Tribulations secret book in the original work, combined with his own understanding of the laws of the universe and his extraordinary understanding. He created a 6 paths of reincarnation that is no less than the 9 Tribulations secret book. Although I, a time traveler, don't have a system. But my understanding is like a cheat, which is incomparable to any system. Logosia smiled. He was not in a hurry to practice the second path of the 6 paths of reincarnation because he had not perfected the second path. If he wanted to perfect the second path of the 6 paths of reincarnation, he had to wait until his realm was higher. The so-called secret method is a method of how to use the power of the law. Understand the law. With my understanding, I can create various secret methods at will. And it is not difficult for me to understand various laws. At least, I have been recognized by 3 original laws now. So in the next time in Chaos City, in addition to comprehending the Chaos Monument, more energy can be put on other laws. As long as I can comprehend these 10 basic laws, I can perfect the 6 paths of reincarnation. Rorschach whispered excitedly. After a while, he calmed down, looked up at the sky, and began to comprehend other original laws. Like other people, it may take thousands or tens of thousands of years to comprehend a law and get the recognition of the original law. But before Rorschach, he was less than 100 years old and got the recognition of 3 original laws. His understanding is unique and extremely amazing. He has the confidence to challenge things that others dare not challenge. In the Chaos Ruins, the Lord of Chaos City withdrew his attention from Logosia's training residence, and whispered in surprise. My disciple's comprehension talent is too high. Did he comprehend the secret method of improving his own life genes by himself? If so, this comprehension is more terrifying than I imagined. I'm afraid that even if the teacher is reborn, he can't compare with Logosia. It's amazing. He is only at the cosmic level, but he has 88 times the life genes that surpass ordinary life in the universe. With such a powerful life gene, plus the clone he comprehended from the golden horned beast, the probability of his death is much smaller. It shouldn't be the same as Cody. Thinking of Cody, the Lord of Chaos expression was slightly silent. After a while, the Lord of Chaos City collected his emotions, looked at this vast world, and slowly sat down. Time passed slowly, and in a blink of an eye, more than 20 years of the initial universe passed. While Luo Xia was comprehending the laws in Chaos City, Luo Feng had already entered the Swaluo world and started his own adventure. He had a great harvest in the Swaluo world. Not only did he get a large amount of Swaluo crystals, he also got a precious golden beast statue. More than 20 years have passed in Luo Xia's side. Almost 80 years have passed in the original universe. Now, after staying in the Swaluo world for 80 years, Luo Feng also chose to return. That was the day Luo Feng returned. In Chaos City, the origin of fire descended and branded a fire mark on Luo Xia's forehead. Crazy. Crazy. This Luo Xia. How many years have passed? He has been recognized by the origin of fire law again. He must be the biological son of the original universe. Too outrageous. While we are still trying to comprehend one origin law, he has already been recognized by 4 origin laws. Comparing with others is frustrating. I know how those geniuses of the same class as Luo Xia feel. This guy would have been enough at their age, but now he is about to be involved in our immortal level. In the city, many immortals were whispering and were hit hard by Luo Xia. And Luo Xia, who hit the immortal, had already contacted Luo Feng and entered the virtual universe. Brother, did you go on any mission before? Luo Xia asked Luo Feng the first time he saw him. Although he was practicing in Chaos City, he still often went into the virtual universe to meet his family. But Luo Feng had not been heard from for 20 years. Well, I went to the Blood Luo world. I stayed there for 80 years, Luo Feng said with a smile. Look at your smile, did you gain a lot in the Blood Luo world? Luo Xia asked with a smile. Well, in the Swaluo world, I understood 35 kinds of space essences. Luo Feng nodded, and then said, after coming back, I got the guidance of the Lord of Tianqi Palace and understood 1 space essence. In addition to this, I also gained other things. I will tell you when you come out. After a pause, he looked at Luo Xia and asked, by the way, when can you come out of Chaos City? Luo Xia smiled and said, you know, it is not difficult for me to become a world master. The main thing is that in this Chaos City, you can comprehend the laws of the origin of the universe and see the rules and logic of the operation of the universe, so I may have to stay here for a while. Luo Feng nodded and said, Chaos City is indeed good for understanding the laws, but Xiao Xia, I think experience is also indispensable. If I don't have this experience, I want to understand 36 kinds of space essences. I don't know how long it will take. I have understood 108 kinds of space essences, Luo Xia said. In another 10 years, I should be able to get the recognition of the laws of the origin of space. Luo Feng. Okay, there is no problem for you to stay in Chaos City. Luo Feng was so sad that he wanted to cry but he couldn't. He thought he had made enough progress, but he didn't expect Luo Xia to make more progress than him. What do you mean, in another 10 years, you can get the recognition of the origin law? Do you know that many world masters and even immortals can't understand the origin law of space in their entire lives? Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 194. After meeting their eldest brother Luo Feng, the two went to meet their parents and family. Now, after hundreds of years of development, the Luo family has directly become the most powerful family on Earth. There are a lot of people. I heard from Luo Hua that their great-grandson is getting married. Rorschach. Are the great-grandchildren getting married? He was quite speechless. But knowing that his family was safe made him feel more at ease. In the following time, he continued to comprehend the laws in Chaos City. The high level of Rorschach's talent has been mentioned before, so I won't emphasize it here. 10 years passed quickly. On this day, the residence where Luo Xia was located was suddenly filled with an extremely powerful aura of law. All the realm lords, immortals, and venerables in Chaos City who sensed the aura of this law were all shocked. Is this the original law of space? The law has come. Could it be that Rorschach is going to be recognized by the original law again? It's still the recognition of the original law of space. I remember Rorschach was still at the cosmic level, right? The cosmic level is recognized by the original law of space. What kind of incredible understanding is this? Crazy. So crazy. I deeply doubt that Rorschach is not a human being. He is the incarnation of the will of the universe. The Realm Lords and Immortals started talking nonsense out of shock. In his residence, Rorschach had a smile on his face. He had been recognized by the laws of space, and it was extremely recognized. Because he has already mastered the third level of absolute space. No matter it's a clone of the golden horned giant beast. Or a clone of the demon killer clan. Or maybe his earthly body can perform teleportation at will. Teleport. This is a magical skill that even an immortal would find difficult to master. As soon as Luoxia had a thought, he disappeared from his residence in an instant, and then appeared in front of the city lord's mansion in an instant. Immediately afterwards, he disappeared directly under the surprised eyes of others and returned to his residence. In the Chaos Ruins, the Chaos City Lord saw all Luoxia's actions. A smile appeared on his murderous face, and he whispered, "My disciple's talent is too amazing. I didn't expect to be recognized by the law of the origin of space at the cosmic level. Has there ever been such a genius in the human race?" He thought for a moment and then shook his head. Anyway, in the history of the human race that he knew, there was no one as perverted as Rorschach. Rorschach, who returned to his residence, chuckled and said to himself, "I can only say that my current achievements are inseparable from the golden horned giant beast. Without the golden horned giant beast, I wouldn't be able to understand the clone skills. Without the clone skill, I can't give birth to a demon slayer clone. Without the demon slaying clan clone, the darling of this space, it would have been impossible for me to be recognized by the original law of space in such a short time. Bo-Ian's space talent is high enough. At the star level, one has a spatial understanding that is no less than the peak of a world lord. But what about the demon killer clan clone? But the darling of space, the assassin clan known as the number one in the universe. Their spatial talent is much higher than Bolan's. With such a high space talent, coupled with Rorschach's understanding, he has achieved the achievement of being recognized by the law of the origin of space at the cosmic level. "Rorschach, you have an email," Babata said suddenly. Rorschach opened the email and found that it reminded him to participate in the qualification competition. Qualification battle. Rorschach whispered and nodded. Universe-level members in the 4 secret realms of Virtual Universe Company must participate in a qualification competition every 100 years. In this qualification battle, those with strong strength can advance to a higher secret realm. Those with weak strength will be eliminated to the next secret realm. Although Rorschach has only stayed in Chaos City for more than 30 years, 100 years have passed in the outside world, so the qualification competition has begun. Virtual Universe, Original Area, in Manor number 113. Rorschach appeared with Babata. The immortal strongman Leica, the leader of the Rorschach guards and the steward of the manor, saw Rorschach appearing and bowed slightly. "Your Highness, you are here. Mr. Lecker, when does the qualification competition start?" Rorschach asked. Lecker said, "After an hour, His Highness can make some preparations." These are the information of His Highness participating in the qualification competition. "I understand." Rorschach nodded. "Sorry to trouble you, Lecker." Lecker smiled and said, "This is what I should do." Rorschach clicked on the information Lecker sent him. There are only 5 universe levels in the entire original secret realm. 2 of them are Rorschach and Bolan. As for the other 3, they are all old people from the original secret realm. These 3 people are very powerful, and they all broke through the 7th floor of Tongtian Bridge. An hour passed quickly. The original zone's universe-level qualification battle is about to begin, everyone gathers. Luo Xia looked up at the sky and saw a figure wearing a white robe flying in the air. The sound just now was made by this person. Luo Xia's expression moved slightly and he teleported over. Your Highness Luo Xia, the man in white robe was startled, looking at Luo Xia who teleported over, with a smile on his face. I heard that you have been recognized by the law of space. It seems to be true. Rorschach smiled and nodded, a silver space mark appeared on his forehead. In addition to the silver space mark, there are also red, gold, purple, and cyan marks on his eyebrows and forehead. These marks of different colors all represent the recognition of the law of origin of space. It can be said that no one is more arrogant than Rorschach at the cosmic level. Not long after, Bolin and the others arrived. Bolin and the other three had complicated expressions when they saw Rorschach. Especially Bolin. Because of Rorschach's stimulation, he had already put the direction of his cultivation on the law of space. But with his talent in space, it is also a long way to go to get the recognition of the law of origin. But Rorschach did it. In just 100 years, he got the recognition of the law of origin of space, which is really amazing. The qualification battle is very simple. Each of the 5 of you will fight with the other 4. The winner gets 1 point, and the loser and the draw get no points. Finally, according to the points ranking, the bottom 3 will compete with the members of the primordial secret realm for the quota of the original secret realm. The old man in white robe began to introduce the rules of the qualification battle. There is nothing much to say about this qualification battle. Because the cosmic level members in the original secret realm are not Rorschach's opponents. No matter the 3 members whose names don't need to be mentioned, or Baran. Rorschach took them away with just 1 sword. Rorschach, who can use teleportation, is so powerful. Unless Baran and the others can block the space and prevent Rorschach from teleporting. Otherwise, they can't stop Rorschach's teleportation sword at all. Can you imagine? In an instant, a sword is stuck in the head. How to fight this kind of battle? It's impossible to fight at all. Sorry everyone, there are things happening again in reality today. As the end of the year approaches, more and more things are happening. I can't expect it. I'm really sorry. I can only update lamely today. Bar Book 69 New. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 195. After the qualification battle, Luo Xia paid a little attention to the qualification battle of his elder brother Luo Feng. Now the eldest brother Luo Feng has accepted a desperate mission and entered a place called Magic Mountain for training. In this qualification battle, everyone used a ray of consciousness to enter the battle. I heard from the eldest brother that he also had a conflict with a man named Moro from the original secret realm in the Magic Mountain. For this reason, Rorschach severely tortured Moro during the qualification battle. It seemed that he only used 1 sword, but when he killed the opponent, he also used illusions, which tortured Moro's mind. Oh, I need to mention it. When the qualification competition first started, Bolin and the others thought they could compete with Rorschach in the qualification competition. After all, Rorschach had stayed in Chaos City to understand the laws in the past 100 years without even having any experience. How can we grow without experiencing ups and downs? These people often take on various dangerous tasks and have experienced many dangers and experiences. They think that they can definitely defeat Rorschach in actual combat, and have no experience. But the fact hit them hard. Facts have proved that even without experience, Rorschach's superb understanding can enable him to crush them in all aspects in battle. After Luo Xia won the first place in the qualifying competition without any suspense, Luo Feng went through a hard battle and successfully got the top 3 rankings. He was qualified to compete with Bolan and others to enter the original secret realm. Brother, I'm waiting for you in the primitive secret realm. After the battle, Luo Xia sent this message to Luo Feng, and then went to understand the original law of the universe. There is no need to watch the next qualification battle. The eldest brother Luo Feng will definitely defeat Bolan and the others. Sure enough, in the battle, Luo Feng defeated Bolan and Moro. There was only one man named Werewolf Croft, who lost contact during the desperate mission and missed the final battle. There was no incident at all. In this way, Luo Feng was also promoted to the original area. Both brothers are members of the original secret realm, which caused many people in the company to talk about it. Many people thought it was a good story. Luo Xia also visited Luo Feng's manor after he came to the primitive area. The two brothers chatted and Rorschach left. Xiao Xia is getting busier and busier now. She feels even busier than me, Luo Feng whispered helplessly as he watched Luo Xia leave. On the other side, Luo Xia looked a little helpless after leaving Luo Feng. I originally wanted to tell my elder brother about my 6 paths of reincarnation, but I couldn't say a relevant word. Is this like the 9 tribulation secret code, which was resisted by the laws of the original universe? Luo Xia shook his head. Fortunately, there are still 9 tribulation secret codes on the earth, but it will take a lot of time to collect the 9 tribulation secret codes. Unlike myself, as long as I continue to understand the laws, especially when I reach the realm, Lord, I should be able to perfect it. His eyes flashed as he continued to comprehend the laws in Chaos City. Time flies, and 300 years pass by in a blink of an eye. On this day, Rorschach's whole body was filled with the aura of the law. This aura was so strong that it made him feel like the incarnation of the law. On his forehead and between his brows, except for the law of time, the other 9 laws all had their marks. At this time, Luo Xia's strength has reached the 9th level of Domain Lord level. As for the other clones, the Golden Horned Giant Beast clone had already reached the 9th level of Domain Lord level under his training. As for the Demon Killer Clan clone, due to the lack of nutrient solution, it is still at the 2nd level of the Territory Lord level. Of the 10 basic laws, only the law of time is left that has not been recognized. Rorschach whispered. The law of time is not like the law of space. There is also a clone of the Demon Killer Clan, so the progress of understanding it is very slow. Although it has reached a very profound state now, it is still far away from being recognized by the law of time. But that's enough. Luo Xia continued to talk to himself. I have now been recognized by the 9 principles and can break through to the World Lord. After breaking through to the Realm Lord, consciousness can come to the origin of the universe. Luo Xia's eyes flashed, so we can try that plan. A long time ago, Rorschach had an idea in his mind. This idea came to him when he was learning soul seals. At the time, he was frightened by his idea, but after carefully studying the soul mark and transforming and optimizing it, the idea took root and sprouted in his mind. What's the idea? Slave the original universe. In the original work, the original ancestor wanted to seize the original universe, but was suppressed and became a virtual universe. Rorschach also didn't want to take away the original universe. It is too difficult to seize the original universe. According to the original work, the will must be transformed into a saint before it is possible to successfully seize the original universe. Rorschach would not fantasize about such a thing. But if you can't take it away, you can enslave it. Compared to seizing a body, slavery is much simpler. Rorschach vaguely remembered that the original will of the original universe was a simple will formed by the huge laws of operation. It was very fragile in itself. It was only with the help of the original source of the universe that it exerted endless pressure. So the possibility of slavery is still very high. And at the World Lord level, Rorschach's consciousness can come to the origin of the universe. If he can cast his soul mark in the origin and enslave the original universe, it is not impossible. Of course, Rorschach is still weak and cannot do such dangerous things right away. So, he planned to take it step by step. First of all, After entering the origin of the universe, he will leave a soul mark created by himself. This soul mark is not an enslavement soul mark, but it can connect to Rorschach's consciousness, allowing his consciousness to enter the origin of the universe at any time. In this way, even if Rorschach breaks through to immortality, his consciousness can enter the origin of the universe at any time and comprehend various origin laws of the universe. Of course, the idea is this. But we still have to see how it goes. For example, can Rorschach's soul mark survive in the origin of the universe? Although I plan to use the power of law to construct the soul seal, it is still unknown whether it can survive in the origin of the universe. Rorschach thought to himself. He had deduced this plan many times. But he was not very sure whether it would succeed. But it can enslave the original universe. Regardless, it's worth a try. If you fail, you may die. I don't know if my actions will trigger the supreme rules. Although he thought that he would not die, Rorschach still cherished life, so he divided the plan of enslaving the original universe into several steps. The first step is to leave a soul mark without harm in the origin of the universe, so that one's own consciousness can come at any time. I was in a bad state, I was panicking, my mind was blank, and I was a little distracted by what was happening in reality. I need to make some adjustments, so I won't say more today. I'm sorry to all the readers. Rightward arrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo-Yoon Song. Chapter 196. There is no need to elaborate too much on the process of breaking through and becoming a realm lord. As early as when he was at the planet level, Rorschach boldly opened up a world within his body, and finally opened up a cave world. Now that Luoxia has been promoted to World Master, he has reopened the world within his body. The creation of the world within the body is usually constructed from the imagination of the Realm Master himself. Rorschach directly created his own inner world based on the myth and legend of Pangu's creation of the sky. Generally speaking, the inner world of many realm masters has a diameter of up to 10,000 kilometers. But Rorschach's inner world directly reached more than 80 million kilometers. This seems to be related to my life genes. Rorschach is like a god, watching the world inside his body. In this inner world, there are mountains and rivers. These mountains are all formed by the condensation of cosmic crystals. Rivers are also formed by the convergence of the original energy of the universe. As for the previous cave world, it was hidden by Luoxia in the inner world, becoming a world within a world. It is extremely difficult for others to build a world inside the body. Even the peak realm lord has to pay a considerable price. But Rorschach had it ready. The cave world can just become Rorschach's realm within a realm. At the same time that Rorschach's body was promoted to Realm Lord, the golden-horned Behemoth's clone, which had reached the 9th level of Realm Lord, also completed its promotion. Oh, it's worth mentioning. During the 300 years that Rorschach had been in Chaos City, he had the golden-horned Behemoth clone practice the 6 paths of reincarnation and successfully increased his life genes to 80 times. Therefore, when he was promoted to Realm Lord, the diameter of the world inside the golden-horned Behemoth's clone reached more than 80 million kilometers. Of course, because it carries too much internal world. The original core of the golden-horned Behemoth clone has also become extremely strong. I'm afraid it will be an obstacle when we break through immortality in the future. But it's not a big problem. With Rorschach's talent, it is easy to solve the problem of the golden-horned beast's clone's original core being too strong. In this way, Luoxia, who was promoted to World Lord, has 2 inner worlds. This is the biggest difference between Luoxia and Luo Feng. Because Luo Feng took away the body of the golden-horned giant beast, no matter whether it is the Earthling himself or the demon-killing clone, the world inside their body is the world inside the golden horned giant beast. But Rorschach's is different. His true body world is unrelated to the inner world of the golden horned behemoth's clone. Although Rorschach can bring the golden horned beast into the cave world. But it does not mean that the cave world is the inner world of the golden horned giant beast. The two exist independently. Therefore, after being promoted to Realm Lord, the clone of the golden horned giant beast will have its own inner world, and Rorschach's earthly self will also have his own inner world. After becoming the Realm Lord, the body length of the golden horned behemoth has reached an astonishing over 100 kilometers. With its scale wings spread out, it can easily cover a giant city. It is extremely fast and can circle the earth in the blink of an eye. On the contrary, the body of the Earthling himself has not changed much. In Chaos City, Rorschach looked at the power of laws lingering around him, breathed out gently, glanced at the laws of the universe appearing in the sky, then closed his eyes and whispered, "Now you can go to the origin of the universe to see already." His consciousness entered the origin of the universe through the resonance of the power of the world. This is the core of the entire original universe. No one knows when this place existed. But the intelligent life in the original universe all know that when the strength reaches the realm master, the consciousness can enter the origin of the universe at will. As soon as Rorschach's consciousness entered this mysterious place, he was sucked in by the endless earth. His consciousness entered a grain of sand, and then his consciousness sensed the original fluctuations of the 10 basic laws with unprecedented clarity. Boom! At this moment, Rorschach's understanding exploded again. He felt as if he was fused with the original will of the universe and understood everything in an instant. But the next second, Rorschach broke away from this feeling. Cold sweat dripped from his forehead. I almost broke through and entered the immortal level. Rorschach blocked out his understanding of the 9 laws and only understood the law of time. I don't want to enter immortality so quickly, at least I can't enter immortality until the life gene reaches the perfect level. Having read the original work, he knew it very well. Only when the life gene reaches perfection and enters immortality can the most and strongest divine power be obtained. If he stepped into immortality now, he would be very strong, but it would leave flaws in his path to the strongest. Rorschach couldn't accept this flaw. Next, try to see if you can leave a soul mark. Luosia's consciousness wandered in the origin of the universe. He wanted to find the original will of the original universe, but he couldn't find it at all. If he could find the original will of the universe, he would try to cast the soul slave seal. After all, it is said in the original work that the original will of the original universe is very fragile, and only relying on the origin of the universe can it have endless power. Unfortunately, he couldn't find it. When my life gene evolves to perfection, the original will of the universe may come again. At that time, I can give it a try. Now, let's see if I can leave a soul mark on this place of origin. Rorschach thought, and his consciousness began to use the ubiquitous power of law and the power of the world to build a soul seal in the place of origin. The process is painless. Because the power to build the soul seal already exists in this place of origin. Not long after, Luoxia left a deep red soul mark in the origin of the universe. This soul mark is very small, like dust. After Luoxia constructed it, he quietly observed. He was a little worried whether the soul mark could survive in this mysterious place. Soon, Luoxia found that the soul mark as small as dust did not attract the attention of the origin of the universe. It seemed to be integrated into this mysterious place, drifting around with the ubiquitous world power and law power. Huh! Luoxia breathed a sigh of relief and secretly rejoiced in his heart. The next moment, his consciousness left the origin of the universe. He wanted to experiment whether his consciousness could enter this mysterious and vast origin through the soul mark without using the resonance of the world power. Luoxia's thought moved, and his consciousness immediately clearly sensed the soul mark left in the origin. He descended his consciousness, and the next second, his consciousness entered the origin of the universe through the red soul mark. Logosya was overjoyed. The plan has taken the first step to success. With this soul seal, the next thing will be easy. Rorschach whispered, while comprehending the law of time and deducing the second level of 6 paths of reincarnation. The origin of the universe is the core of the original universe. Here, you can clearly sense the operation of the 10 basic laws. At the same time, with Rorschach's extraordinary understanding, he also vaguely sensed the more powerful power contained in this origin. The origin of life. Sorry, I am not feeling well. It may take a few days to resume the update. As the end of the year approaches, I wish all readers to take care of their health and have a healthy and happy new year. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 197. Come and see me. Rightward arrow. A mysterious voice sounded in Logosya's heart. Logosya looked in the direction of the city lord's mansion. The only one who could talk to him like this was the teacher, the Lord of Chaos City. Rorschach did not hesitate and walked directly towards the Lord of Chaos City. Not long after, he walked into the inner palace under the watchful eyes of the immortal gods guarding the door. These immortal gods all know that Logosya is the direct disciple of the Lord of Chaos City. 300 years ago, Rorschach was still a cosmic level. But now, he is already a realm lord. In 300 years, these immortals have never seen any human being whose strength has improved as fast as Rorschach. Especially Babida. When she was on Earth, she had calculated that it would take at least 50,000 to 60,000 years for Rorschach to become the world master. But now, in 300 years, he has become the world lord. It's really fate that makes people happy. But Babida himself had something to say. How did she know that Rorschach could get first place in the genius competition? Moreover, the method used by Virtual Universe Company to cultivate geniuses is too scary, and the nutrient solution seems to be free of charge. Without the strength-enhancing nutrient solution, according to Babida's calculations, it would have taken Rorschach at least more than 10,000 years to become a realm master. But with the nutrient solution from Virtual Universe Company, Rorschach no longer has to waste time practicing and absorbing the energy of the universe. Coupled with his own incredible understanding, becoming a realm master in 300 years is actually not that fast. Stepping into the courtyard, time and space change. Rorschach came to the vast world full of corpses. It was as if the Chaos City Lord at the center of the universe was standing in the center of all the laws of the universe. He was carrying Rorschach on his back, as if he was looking at something, his eyes like the starry sky, extremely deep and distant. Teacher Logosya saluted respectfully. The Lord of Chaos City turned to look at Logosya, his expression seemed to be very gratifying. He smiled and said, I thought it would take you more than 1,000 years to become a realm lord, but I didn't expect that you would achieve this in 300 years step. It's all cultivated by teachers and the company, Logosya said. The Lord of Chaos City smiled slightly, I didn't help you much. In the past 300 years, you have been thinking about it alone. You haven't even asked me about the Chaos Monument in the universe. After a pause, the Lord of Chaos City asked, have you fully understood the Universal Chaos Monument? Logosya shook his head slightly, in terms of understanding the law of time, my disciple is still a little behind. The Lord of Chaos City said. That's because in the past 300 years, you have focused more of your energy on other things. However, the Cosmic Chaos Monument is just a little bit of my understanding of the laws and the universe. It is a path of cultivation that I have opened up. It suits me, but it may not suit you, so it doesn't matter whether you understand it thoroughly or not. The Lord of Chaos City looked up at the stars, with your understanding, the entire universe is your real teacher. Now that you have been promoted to Realm Lord, according to the rules of my human race, next, you need to go to the battlefield outside the territory. Understood? Logosya nodded. The Lord of Chaos City looked at Luoxia again and said, "But it has been a long time since you left your family and hometown. 300 years have passed in Chaos City, but thousands of years have passed in the original universe. I will give you 100 years of vacation. 100 years after that, you go directly to the outer battlefield, and someone will notify you then." "Yes, teacher." Luoxia looked happy. He had indeed been away from his hometown and family for too long. He wanted to go back and meet Luo Hongguo and the others. "You are my disciple. As a teacher, I cannot let you go to the battlefield like this. I see that you like to use swords, so I will give you this treasure." The Lord of Chaos City said as he took out a long sword that looked like it was made of stars. "This sword is called the Galaxy Sword. It is not a top-level treasure, but it is also a high-level treasure and has extremely powerful attack power. Of course, with your current strength, you are still unable to display its true strength, but it will allow you to control the outside world. The battlefield is enough." Luoxia respectfully took the Galaxy Sword from the Lord of Chaos City with both hands. I was secretly surprised. He remembered that the treasures in this universe were divided into ordinary treasures, high-level treasures, and top-level treasures. In the original book, the Wu-killing wings given by the Lord of Chaos City to his eldest brother Luo Feng were considered ordinary treasures until he collected several other pairs of wings. But the Galaxy Sword given to Luoxia is a high-level treasure. The value of high-level treasures among humans is huge, enough to make the average universe master jealous. The Galaxy Sword was obtained from a battlefield ruins in my early years. Its origin is unknown, but it is extremely powerful. Even ordinary defensive treasures cannot withstand its attack." The Lord of Chaos City said. "Rorschach is holding the Galaxy Sword. This long sword is very long, almost as tall as two of him, and there is a river of stars flowing on the blade." He held the long sword and moved it slightly, and the galaxy on the blade immediately flowed, and the power of the laws of time and space lingered on it, disturbing the surrounding time and space. Luoxia was shocked. "This Galaxy Sword?" The Lord of Chaos City smiled slightly and said, "The Galaxy Sword contains the power of the laws of time and space, and the Chaos Monument of the universe that you have learned follows the cultivation path of time and space, so it is very suitable for you." "Thank you, Teacher," Rorschach said gratefully. "This Galaxy Sword really suits him. You know, most of the treasures in the universe are at most a combination of a superior law and a lower law, but this Galaxy Sword is a combination of two superior laws." Luoxia knew very well that this Galaxy Sword was definitely not as simple as the teacher said. However, the blade was a little long. From the tip of the sword to the hilt, it was almost as long as two of him. Although it can be held in one hand, it always feels a little awkward. "If it could be shorter." Luoxia whispered. The Galaxy Sword in his hand seemed to understand his words, and the starlight on the blade flowed, slowly shrinking and becoming the size of an ordinary long sword. Luoxia was delighted. "Good baby." The Lord of Chaos City saw Luoxia holding the Galaxy Sword and couldn't let it go, and smiled slightly. "I can't help you much, only this Galaxy Sword. If you encounter a time and space blockade in the future, this Galaxy Sword can also help you break the blockade, plus you have learned to teleport, it is enough to escape." It turns out that the teacher gave him the Galaxy Sword, and there is this meaning. Luoxia heard this, and his heart suddenly came to light. "Okay, you can go back." The Lord of Chaos City waved his hand. "After leaving Chaos City, you have to be careful, those aliens will not let you go easily." Rorschach nodded solemnly. "Teacher, I'll leave first." He put away the Galaxy Sword, saluted the Lord of Chaos City, and left Chaos Ruins. Aliens. Rorschach was not afraid. With his current strength, unless the aliens sent a universe master, even if the one who came was the immortal king, Rorschach would have the confidence to escape. But the aliens obviously would not sacrifice a universe master for a genius like him. That's not worth it. "Hey, I hope Rorschach won't be like Cody. The Lord of Chaos City sighed. Rorschach, who had already left, naturally couldn't hear it. 1,000 years. Rorschach, who left Chaos Ruins, turned around and looked at the courtyard where the Lord of Chaos City was, and then walked out of the Lord's mansion. I heard from my elder brother that his experience in the past 1,000 years has been full of twists and turns. Let's go find my elder brother first. Thanks to book friend 20220122182752036 for the 600 Kidian coins. Thanks to Daily, a book friend, for the 588 U coins. Thanks to book friend 20230717250 for the 100 U coins. Thank you very much. At the same time, thank you to all the book friends who subscribed and voted. Thank you very much. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 198. Searched Can on Google. Brother, can you tell me now what happened to your family over the past 1,000 years? In the virtual universe, in Luo Xia's manor, he and his eldest brother Luo Feng sat opposite each other. Rorschach asked. Luo Feng picked up the teacup in front of him and took a sip. The tea in this manner was a special tea cultivated by Su Xian and the others in the virtual universe. It was very popular with many big shots. Luo Feng looked at his younger brother with a smile on his face and said, I didn't tell you before because I was worried about disturbing you, and I can also solve it. If you want to know now, I will tell you. Rorschach himself took a sip of tea and said, I know you can solve it, so I can understand why Dad and the others don't tell me, but I really want to know which guys are trying to do us harm. During the 300 years he had been practicing in Chaos City, many things had happened in the outside world. Rorschach was aware of something. But when they asked Luo Feng and Luo Hongguo, they didn't say anything for fear of disturbing Luo Xia. The reason is that Luo Feng said something in the family. Rorschach's talent has been targeted by other aliens in the universe. If he comes out of Chaos City rashly, he will easily be assassinated by the aliens. It was this sentence that made Luo Hongguo and the others never say what they had experienced when faced with Luo Xia's questioning. After putting down the teacup, Luo Feng began to talk about what happened over 1,000 years ago. After becoming a member of the original secret realm, Luo Feng quickly became the domain master. As a domain lord level member of the original secret realm, Luo Feng was sent to the Qinwu Universe country by the company and became the supervisory envoy of the virtual universe branch. After becoming the special envoy of supervision, Luo Feng returned to his hometown of Earth. While staying on Earth, he got a mysterious black metal plate, and then went to seize the spaceship left by the immortal machine tribe on Earth. This immortal spaceship of the mechanical race was left on the Earth when they originally hunted down Hu Yanbo. After staying on Earth for nearly 50 years, Virtual Universe Company issued a special mission to Luo Feng. Luo Feng accepted this mission and went to the Menju Empire, a subordinate empire of Qinwu Universe Kingdom. The ancestors of this empire and their disciples were all enslaved by the immortal god-level Zerg Queen. After a great battle, Luo Feng completed the mission. At the same time, through this mission, I got acquainted with the Ta'an tribe of the Golden Horn tribe. After completing the mission, Luo Feng was invited by the Golden Horn clan to go to the location of their tribe. There, Luo Feng saw the starry sky beast captured by the Golden Horn tribe, the Ruinchuo beast. By the way, I brought you some blood of the giant beast of destruction. At this point, Luo Feng paused slightly and said to Luo Xia, the destruction behemoth is a thunder and lightning, time behemoth. It has the innate secret method of time stilling, which should be able to help you. Luo Xia nodded slightly and looked into Luo Feng's eyes. When he just mentioned the destructive beast, a trace of anger and sorrow flashed in his eyes. Brother, do you want to save the giant beast of destruction? Luo Xia asked. Luo Feng was silent for a while, and then said, it was captured by the Master of the Universe. Now, I don't have the strength to save it. It seems that the body-stealing golden-horned giant beast still has some influence on you, Luo Xia suddenly said. Luo Feng nodded, not avoiding the question, and sighed, I know, although I think psychologically I am still a human being, after taking away the body of the golden-horned beast, my emotions are complicated when facing other starry sky beasts. Rorschach did not continue to ask about this issue, but just said, Destruction Beast, the Thunder and Lightning Time Beast is indeed very suitable for me now. He is now just short of being recognized by the law of time and not being recognized by the law of origin. Although he did not destroy the giant beast, he could quickly be recognized by the law of time as the world master. But having the talent of destroying giant beasts can speed up this process. This is very important to Rorschach. If he can get the recognition of the 10 basic laws, he can perfect his 6 paths of reincarnation. Let's not talk about the destruction of the giant beast. Luo Feng shook his head, past this topic, and continued, after coming to the Golden Horn clan, I got their special permission to understand the holy monument and learn their methods. A secret? Luo Xia smiled and said, this Golden Horn tribe treats you quite well. Luo Feng smiled and said, everyone has their own needs, they helped me like this just because they wanted to invest in me. But I will never forget their kindness. After all, after understanding their holy monument, my golden horned giant the beast has broken through to the realm lord. At this point, Luo Feng's expression suddenly became solemn, I encountered something later, this matter probably involves some kind of secret of the universe. Xioxia, after you come out, I will talk to you carefully. This is not the place to talk about this. Rorschach raised his eyebrows slightly and nodded. After leaving the Golden Horn clan, I returned to Earth. Luo Feng looked at Luo Xia, Xiao Xia, you should know that on our Earth, the desperate situation in Shenangjia is actually a sleeping Zerg mother nest. Rorschach nodded, Babata told me this, saying that the teacher left it on the Earth. He once wanted to enslave the Zerg mother queen, but before he succeeded, he was chased and killed by his enemies. Luo Feng said, it is too dangerous for the Zerg mother nest to stay on Earth, so I want to follow the teacher's method to enslave the Zerg mother nest. At first, I planned to use the special enslavement soul seal you taught me directly, but later, to be on the safe side, I exchanged a 10,000 heart soul control secret method at the company. After a slight pause, he continued, after all, the soul seal can only control one kind of soul, and the Zerg queen is very special. I can't guarantee whether the soul seal will succeed. If it fails, and the mother nest is revived because of me, then the Earth will be finished. Luo Feng picked up the teacup on the table and took a sip. I didn't expect that the special soul seal you taught me was quite strong. I didn't have to work hard to enslave the Zerg mother nest left by the teacher. Afterwards, in order to cultivate the Zerg mother nest, Luo Feng left the Earth and went to a place called Wolong Star Region. This star region is one of the 9 garbage star regions. A lot of garbage was thrown here. Luo Feng bought a large number of Zerg corpses in this Wolong Star region. At the same time, adhering to the principle of being here, he went shopping in the garbage mountain of Wolong Star region, but he didn't expect to encounter an assassin. An assassin of the 9th level of the Realm Master brought an immortal god to assassinate Luo Feng. If my golden horned giant beast had not broken through to the Realm Master level at that time, I'm afraid it would be finished. When Luo Feng said this, cold sweat still broke out on his back. The situation at that time was very critical. He didn't expect that he would encounter an assassin. After this assassination, Luo Feng also understood Luo Xia's situation with his qualifications. The alien race could send an immortal god to assassinate, so what if it was a genius like Luo Xia? I'm afraid it wouldn't be an immortal god, but many immortal gods who were crowned as marquises or even kings. This is also the reason why Luo Feng withstood the pressure and didn't let Luo Xia know the situation when the Earth encountered a crisis later. There is still one chapter, Sorry, I'm late. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, My Understanding is Beyond Belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 199. Relying on the golden horned behemoth, Luo Feng finally withstood the assassination of the immortal god. However, due to the self-destruction of the immortal spirit, the leader who followed Luo Feng died, and a large amount of assets were lost in the area. Luo Feng was investigated. During the investigation, Luo Feng had a conflict with an immortal named Night Candle King. The trouble the earth encountered after that was caused by the Nightmare Candle King. Luo Feng later communicated with his teacher and found out that Nightmare King was targeting him because King Jinyan had a conflict with his father, Lord Zuhuo. Things had some twists and turns, but they were resolved later. Luo Feng did not leave the Wolong Star territory directly, but continued to search for treasures here, and finally found a mysterious armor in various garbage mountains. Strange to say, these armor fragments have a strong sense of summons to me, and I don't know why. Luo Feng said with a somewhat puzzled expression. Luo Xia thought thoughtfully, this armor fragment is probably the fragment of the child armor that was born from the tribulation armor. And this so-called robbery armor is the work of the mysterious and powerful Sishinki. Tribulation armor is a very powerful pinnacle treasure, which can breed low-level armors, soldier armor, general armor, king armor, and emperor armor. After I found the fragments of these mysterious armors in the Wolong Star territory, I left and prepared to return to Earth and then come to Chaos City. But halfway through the flight, I received a mission email from the company. This mission is a series of missions, and it is a mission to check the nature of the mind. Rorschach blinked, check your Xingxing. Luo Feng smiled and said, you also know that there are all kinds of birds in the forest. The universe is also, Virtual Universe Company will issue similar tasks to all core members to check their Xingxing. He gave Rorschach an example. For example, if you are willful and murderous during the mission, then you will not be able to take on any important responsibilities in the human race in the future. But if you can take the overall situation into consideration and be kind-hearted at the same time, then in the future you will, as it grows, the company will be entrusted with big responsibilities. Rorschach said, I thought the main tone of this universe was darkness and coldness. The main theme of most of the universe is indeed dark and cold. Luo Feng recalled the slaves they had seen and shook his head, but if a race wants to continue and survive, it cannot be all dark and cold. Only the strong protect the weak, and the weak love the strong and help each other. We only then can the ethnic group continue to exist. Love, Rorschach suddenly said, love is also an eternal theme in this universe. Hearing this, Luo Feng nodded in agreement. Without love for their loved ones and love for the earth, they would not have been able to get to where they are today. This series of tasks is extremely challenging. Luo Feng recalled the content of the mission and shook his head slightly, and the trouble that the earth encountered happened during this mission. What happened to the earth at that time? Rorschach asked. Luo Feng looked at Luo Xia and suddenly smiled. Does this matter have something to do with the museum owner Hong? Hong, the owner of the museum, I remember that he came to Chaos City not long ago, and I met him at that time. We talked a lot, but he didn't tell me about it. Maybe he was embarrassed. Rorschach said. Hong had been to Chaos City before. However, he did not have permanent residence rights. After staying for 30 years, he left Chaos City. Luo Xia also chatted with Hong for a long time. I didn't expect that what happened on Earth was related to Hong. Wait, I seem to have remembered something. Rorschach glared slightly. Luo Feng was also a little bit dumbfounded and said, the things on Earth do have a lot to do with the museum leader Hong. The reason is that he went into the Sea of Illusion. Illusion Sea. Rorschach blinked. He also went through the Sea of Illusion, and he also passed through 21 islands in one go. In the end, the Lord of Chaos City was alarmed. The city lord asked him not to leak the news, otherwise it would cause trouble. In the end, he didn't cause trouble, but Hong caused trouble to the earth. Luo Feng continued, Hong, the master of the hall, almost broke through 21 islands. This matter was known by the giant axe arena. Then the founder blocked the news and accepted Hong as a registered disciple. The founder of the Great Axe Arena is the founder of the Great Axe Chaos Monument, right? Luo Xia sighed, the owner of the arena, Hong, is in such good luck. Luo Feng couldn't help but nod. It was indeed a good opportunity to become a registered disciple of such an existence. Although the news is blocked, there are still venerable universes who know about it. Among them are Venerable Candlelight and Venerable Immortal. These venerables sent their immortal gods to the earth to buy the earth from me. Among them, Lord Zuhuo's son, King Nightmare, did the most extreme thing. He directly threatened me with people on earth. If I didn't sell it to them, he would kill tens of billions of people on earth. Speaking of this, Luo Feng's tone was very cold. Luo Xia's eyes also glowed, Master Zuhuo and Nightmare Candle King, I will make them pay the price sooner or later. Now the Nightmare Candle King is imprisoned in the 9th star domain prison for a period of 1000 epochs. Luo Feng smiled bitterly. Luo Xia frowned, is this his father, Lord Zuhuo, protecting him? Luo Feng nodded, yes. Not to mention this disappointing guy, the situation was indeed critical at that time, but later the Lord Nine Swords came forward and solved the matter, and the humans on Earth who were taken away by the Nightmare Candle King were also put it back intact. Luo Xia pretended to be ignorant and asked, why do these venerables want to get the Earth? Luo Feng took a sip of tea and said, I also learned the secret from the owner Hong. I heard that the Earth was transformed by a powerful alien a long time ago. The powerful alien. Luo Xia's eyes flashed. Luo Feng continued, the transformed Earth can breed very special life. The human race born here will undergo special evolution in a certain aspect of the soul. Looking at Luo Xia, Luo Feng had a smile on his face. What the owner Hong said is that the human beings born on the Earth are more likely to improve their state of mind. You should have noticed this aspect. But there is one thing you are different from us. For example, I and the owner Hong, only our state of mind improves quickly. Although our comprehension is not bad, it can't be compared with your comprehension at all. Luo Feng thought he had found the reason why Luo Xia's comprehension was so high, and he had a smile on his face. Although the Earth has had an impact on us, it seems to have had a greater impact on you. Not only has your state of mind improved rapidly, but your understanding has also increased to an incredible level. Babata's evaluation of you back then was really correct. You may really be the greatest miracle since the birth of our human race on Earth. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 200. It was impossible for Rorschach to tell his brother that he was a time traveler. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. So when faced with Luo Feng's statement, he smiled and acquiesced. Luo Feng suddenly sighed and said, although the company later helped me solve the problem of the giant axe fighting arena, they also discovered the special characteristics of the Earth. Luo Xia frowned and said, what conditions did they put forward? Luo Feng glanced at Luo Xia and said, the first condition is to use 200 billion Hunyuan units to purchase the Earth, because legally speaking, our Earth strictly belongs to the Virtual Universe Company, and they can use the law to deprive me of the Earth at any time. The identity of the Lord. Rorschach frowned, what about the second condition? The second condition is to give me 50 billion Hunyuan units, and then I will still be the Lord of the Earth. At the same time, humans on the Earth can live on the continent of the Earth, but the oceans and the areas above the oceans belong to the Virtual Universe Company. They will be in the oceans building a large number of floating cities on the Earth will not disturb the people on the Earth, and can also help the people on the earth grow. Luo Feng said helplessly. Luo Xia's face was gloomy, which was very similar to the modern Chinese concession. Luo Feng looked at his sullen younger brother and said, Xiao Xia, we have no choice. Whether it's the Giant Axe Arena or the Virtual Universe Company, we can't compete. So I chose the second option. Rorschach clenched his fists, and after a while, he unclenched his fists and said, I understand, we are too weak. Weakness is the original sin. If he could be as powerful as the Lord of Chaos City, neither the Giant Axe Arena nor the Virtual Universe Company would dare to put forward such conditions. Luo Feng looked at Luo Xia. After a while, he continued, after the incident on Earth, I continued to do a series of tasks. The later tasks involved an immortal king named Blood Demon King. He went on to tell his story. The mission involving the Blood Demon King allowed Luo Feng to see purgatory on Earth. Many times, what people on Earth say is true, if there is really heaven and hell in this world, then hell must be on Earth. The things that the Blood Demon King has done can be said to be hell in this world. Luo Feng saved tens of billions of people under the hands of the Blood Demon King. The next series of tasks is to judge the Blood Demon King and his men. After the Blood Demon King incident was over, I got a good evaluation, but the last mission involved our Luo family. Speaking of this, Luo Feng's expression was a little unnatural. Luo Xia frowned, what happened to our Luo family? In recent years, his energy has been basically on understanding the laws, so he pays relatively little attention to his family. I really don't know what happened to the Luo family. More than 1,000 years have passed, and the descendants of Luo Hua and I have spread out. Now, including those branches and collaterals, there are millions of family members. Luo Feng showed a wry smile, when there are more people, even if I make various house rules, there are still some things that will happen at home. He shook his head, the most important thing is that the company also listed a crime against Dad. What? Luo Xia suddenly stood up, anger welling up. Although he is a time traveler, he highly recognizes his parents in this life. Didn't Dad always play virtual games? What crime can he be guilty of? Luo Feng pressed his hand, signaling Luo Xia to calm down first. When Rorschach sat down again, he said, the charges listed by the company against my father said that he had killed many high-status citizens of the universe. Bashu 69 knew. Rorschach laughed angrily, is this company doing this on purpose? The only place where Dad can come into contact with the citizens of the universe on Earth is in the virtual universe. Does this mean that in this virtual universe, you can kill people? Luo Feng shook his head, of course the virtual universe can't kill people, but some people can easily expose information about their own reality during communication. Dad established a guild in that game, and the people in his guild wanted to defeat people in other guilds. Assassinated game players from other guilds in real life. After a pause, Luo Feng looked at Luo Xia, who still had an angry look on his face, and continued, and the company put this crime on Dad. Luo Xia said indifferently, what? Does the company want you to kill Dad? Of course not. They just want to see clearly what my character is. Luo Feng shook his head and said. He looked at Rorschach, from the perspective of Virtual Universe Company, if anything happens, they hope that I will put the company's orders first and my family second. Luo Xia was also looking at Luo Feng. He knew his elder brother very well. Luo Feng continued. An ancient saying goes, a son never speaks of his father's faults. They don't understand our Earth culture at all, so they gave this task at the end. How could I punish Dad? However, before coming to Chaos City, I had a chat with Dad, at least let him understand the whole story, so you don't have to worry about Dad. Luo Xia nodded, looked at her elder brother, and asked, do you want to go back to Chaos City? Luo Feng nodded, this time, I may have to stay in Chaos City for about 1,000 years. The two of us happen to come from opposite directions. Luo Xia lamented, when I was in Chaos City, I was in the outside world. Now I am going out, and you are coming in again. Luo Feng smiled slightly, so during the time I am staying in Chaos City, I will leave the family affairs to you. I can't stay at home for long. Luo Xia shook his head. I have been promoted to the Master of the Realm, and the teacher gave me 100 years of vacation. After the vacation, I will go to the battlefield outside the domain. Luo Xia smiled, looked at his eldest brother and said, so the family affairs should be handed over to the second brother and sister-in-law. A large family of millions of people, I don't want to manage it, and I can't manage it. Luo Feng looked at his younger brother and shook his head and smiled. In fact, it is my son Luo Ping who is in charge of the family now. Luo Ping, that kid. Thinking of his nephew, Luo Xia was a little emotional. Time flies so fast. He and Xiao Hai were still acting like spoiled children in our arms before, and now more than 1,000 years have passed, and Luo Ping can manage millions of people. Luo Ping and Luo Hai still miss you, especially Luo Hai, Luo Feng said. Luo Xia asked, speaking of which, how is Xiao Hai's strength now? Luo Feng said, Xiao Hai is quite hardworking and often goes to the universe to explore. Now he seems to have been promoted to the universe level. Not bad. Luo Xia nodded. Is he on Earth now? Luo Feng shook his head. After I left home, he went to the universe to explore and adventure. I don't know where he is now. But Luo Ping is on Qinhua Star. Qinhua Star is very close to the Earth. After you go back, he will come back to Earth to see you. Okay, I know. Luo Xia stood up. Brother, see you later. Yeah, Luo Feng nodded, watching his brother's body disappear in front of him, and then he also exited the virtual universe.